I've learned in my own way that life cannot be clenched in a fist. For a long time, I believed that if I tried hard enough, if I demanded, if I held on, then people and things would respond exactly as I wished. I lived with the impression that life was a game to be won, possessed, and controlled. I grabbed opportunities, people, moments, trying to make them mine every single moment. But with every excessive effort, I felt everything slipping through my fingers. I discovered, in the most unexpected moments, that force never truly works. The harder you hold, the more life pushes back. People withdraw, and things that could grow naturally wither under your pressure. I witnessed how much tension a person can carry inside when trying to control what cannot be controlled. I was there too, anxious, dissatisfied, frustrated, always on edge, waiting for a result that would prove I deserved what I was asking for. As time passed, I began to feel exhausted. Exhausted from holding the world by the throat, from being constantly vigilant, from fighting with everything and everyone that didn't fit my plans. I realized I could not continue like that. It was a crossroads, continue to hold or let go. When I chose to let go, it wasn't easy. At first, I felt an emptiness, uncertainty, without control, without rigid strategies, without exaggerated expectations. I seemed to no longer know who I was. But in that emptiness, I began to discover freedom. I started noticing people and situations without judging them or demanding them to be different. I began receiving experiences I could never have obtained through force. I started understanding that not holding the world by the throat doesn't mean giving up on my dreams or aspirations. It means doing what I can, giving everything I have, but without turning the outcome into an obsession. It is a lesson life offered me, gently yet firmly. I learned that we can act, love, hope, but we cannot control everything. When we try, we get lost in our own fears and dissatisfaction. But when we leave space, relax our grip. Stop demanding the world to be exactly as we want. Things appear that we couldn't have anticipated. People come into our lives not for what we want to receive, but for what we can share. Moments of joy arrive that need no validation. Lessons come that transform us, even if at first they frighten us. I learned that not holding the world by the throat is an act of trust. Trust in myself, in others, and in life itself. It's a way of saying, I do what I can, but I know not everything depends on me. I understood that force does not bring love, respect, or happiness. It only brings frustration and tension. But when I choose to be open, when I stop trying to control, the world responds. Not always as I wish, but as I need. I began noticing that when I don't force things, people come closer. When I stop trying to change everything, things start to fall into place on their own, often better than any plan I could have imagined. I began to receive without guilt and give without fear. I began to live in a delicate balance between action and acceptance. I hold the world by the throat, and I've learned to respect the timing of things. I realized that patience is not passivity, but a subtle form of wisdom. Not everything I want needs to happen immediately. Not everything I seek needs to be exactly how I imagine. And paradoxically, the moment I stop asking, I receive more than I ever thought I could. Not everything I desire, but everything I need. It is a lesson that has transformed me. I began to see life more clearly, feel more deeply, and live more authentically. I no longer feel the need to control every detail because I understand that true freedom and happiness come from accepting what exists. People and things are not objects to possess, but realities that unfold in time. And I can choose to be present, to receive and give, without squeezing or suffocating. Today, when I feel the temptation to control again, I stop. I remember how hard it was to breathe when I tried to make everything perfect. I remember how much we lose when we cling to outcomes. And I choose to be present, let things flow, observe, and receive. I choose to believe that life does not need to be conquered, only lived, and that when I stop holding, I receive everything I need. This sentence, "Don't strangle the world, and it will give you everything," is no longer just a metaphor for me. It is a way of living, a philosophy I apply every day. It is a reminder that true power does not lie in control, but in trust, and that when I let go, when I allow life to flow, the world becomes generous. It offers me people, experiences, moments, and lessons that cannot be forced, but that transform me. I have learned to distinguish between acting and controlling. I have learned to love without possessing. I have learned to hope without tying my happiness to an outcome. And most importantly, I have learned that true wealth comes when I begin to receive the world as it is, not as I wish it to be. Looking back, I realized that my attempts to hold the world by the throat only prevented me from truly living. But when I let it be, I received everything, not in the exact form I wanted, but in the form that made me grow, learn, and become whole. And this, I have understood, is the greatest gift, to receive life fully, with all its beauty and imperfections, without clutching or forcing it.